find that, and that's attack mode 0. So to do that, we would do -A space 0. Brute force is when we just start at A, and then AA, AB, BB, AAA, AAB, and so on, right? So we can, of course, build rules based off of that so that if we want to start at 6 characters, we can start 6 characters or whatever, assuming that we have that information, right? But the big ones that you're going to need to know is 0 and 3. There may, I don't think, I'll double check, but I don't think you need to build any word rules. If there are, I think it's given to you to run. But I can double check. I'm pretty sure you don't. But I mean, it's good to familiarize yourself. Again, if you did the assignment, you have that information, right? You're more than welcome to use your past assignments within Psychometric. Those are notes, right? You can take that, use those for those things. So our -A is our mode. The next thing that we need to know is our -M. -M is the type of encryption or type of hash, right? So our big one, especially if we're doing, if we're cracking a Linux device, Linux password is our 500. This is our MD5 crypt, right? So we can see right here, it's an MD5 Unix style. So if we were doing a word list, we would do -A0 -M500 because that's our word list. If we're doing pre-Windows XP with and Windows XP, so pre-Windows 7, we want our LM, right? Those are our LM hashes, and anything after that, including XP, does have NTLM, but with XP we can just use LM. Those are our big ones, so remember that. Of course, I think within the quiz, those are the only ones that you need to know, but again, we can look here to find exactly what we want. And this will tell us again, what our different types of hashes are inside our shadows file. So if I do like a search for our $6, right? So that's telling us that if our hash inside our shadows file starts at the $6, then that's a SHA-512 crypt. If it's a 5, SHA-256 crypt. Again, you could probably Google this and type hash type and it will probably come up as well, right? So just different ways to find that same information. I don't think any of our machines will be able to easily crack those. There are no SHA-256 or 5 SHA-512 passwords that you have to crack with inside the exam. But there are a couple hashes that you do have to do, and there are a couple that you can use other resources to find what the hash is. And there are some that you do have to use Hashcat or John the Ripper if you want to use John the Ripper. I prefer Hashcat, but John the Ripper works just fine, and it can be a little bit easier sometimes. So if we were to this is our simplest using our word list, right? So if we're given a word list in the exam, this is exactly what we would need to run right here, except for we would change one thing. We'd change the M, right? Because more than likely it's going to be MD5 crypt, right? So we would be M500. We have our example hash. It doesn't have to be .hash. It just has to be a file with hash in it. That's the easiest way to do it. There are other ways to feed the hash in there, but the easiest way is just a file with the hash in there. And then if we're given a dictionary, the dictionary, right? So just remember our basic examples down there is going to be able to help pretty easy, right? If you need to brute force, right? So if we look at this, what's our brute force? So we can just read this. So our attack mode is brute force at first. We see that right here. M0, which, let's see what M0 is. I think it's just MD5, which is not the same as MD5 crypt. Remember that. So yep, so just an MD5 raw hash. And then our hash file, right? And then what is this? Hopefully you guys understand or recognize what this is telling us. This is telling us to start at A for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're starting our guess at all A's at 6, 6 characters. So we know that our password is at least 6 characters. and we're just going to brute force this starting at all A's and it's just going to go up, right? So be able to recognize the different rules that we need to build for Hashcat. And again, be able to find out where you can find those rules, because there are some pretty tricky rules that you can do. But I don't think you need to do any of that for the midterm. Just be able to recognize, very simple rules, different things like that. Focus on, being able to do word lists and whatnot. And you can see right here, if we do need to build in rules, right, we can pipe it into the -R for building rules. This is kind of our mask, is what it's called. I keep referring to it. I mean, it's a rule for brute force, but I don't want to confuse you, because there are different rules when you do word lists. So just a refresher, rules within a word list essentially will take that password and apply different things to it. So if our password is, A, B, C, D, E, we can write a rule that will switch our A with at and our 3 with E. So it will guess A, B, C, D, E, and then it will guess at A, B, C, D, 3. Those are what different rule lists we can build that way. And then we have in our brute force, we have our mask. And our mask is where we're starting. So let's say we know that this password is 6 characters, all lowercase, so we start like that. But let's say we know that it ends with two numbers, right? So we can add that mask in there to start guessing at that 2 numbers. This is all based on, with inside Hashcat. Are there fill in the blank questions? I believe so, and I will double check, but they are not like the quiz where you can answer 5 different ways. I think there's only one way to answer the fill in the blanks, if that makes sense. So there shouldn't be any issues with wrong capitalization or wrong, space or whatever like that. Which reminds me, I still need to fix that quiz that we took last time, because there were a couple of those really lame things where people got it right, but they just typed it in incorrectly. So let me write a note on that, and I'll fix that tonight. But I will go through and double check. When I was looking at the test, there are fill in the blank, but they are you can only answer it one way, if that makes sense. So there shouldn't be any issues with wrong spelling or anything like that. If there are, then I will fix that and change that. So I want to make sure I'm not missing any other questions, because my chat room is tiny. Okay, perfect. Okay, so the little rundown on Hashcat. Are there any other questions, any other things you guys want me to go over? Taylor, everything is due tomorrow night, 11:59. Okay, well, there's starts at 4. Yep. So starts 4 o'clock Thursday. Come to this live room. I will be here, and I will give you all the password to get into the midterm. I'm planning on staying here until 5:15 or until everyone's gone. So any other questions? And again, if those of you who have a quiz makeup, you have until 5:15 to do that. You were given instructions on how to do that. If you have any issues, let me know, and if I need to, I can extend it. So if any other questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer or go over something. But if not, I'll see you guys on Thursday. Again, Thursday, 4 o'clock, come to this little live room. I will be in the live room the whole time during the exam, so that if you have any questions, you can reach out. Or you can send me a message, because I think you can send direct messages in this as well. So, And I guess this is what we'll be for the rest of the semester. So hopefully it all works.